If you really want to see what the children in your life are capable of, ask them what they want to see changed and then be quiet and listen to their response. Our kids are the leaders of the future, but more importantly, they're impactful leaders now when we step back and let them do it.
Caring for others is part of your life, but it's not all of it. This is your space for growth, confidence, and connection to the whole you. Welcome to the Dali Talks podcast.
Welcome back to the Dali Talks podcast. My guest today is Leah Ellis. She is a mom of 4 and the founder of the Society of Child Entrepreneurs, a Kansas-based nonprofit that helps kids turn imagination into action. Leah, welcome to the podcast. How are you?
I'm doing really well. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much. I'm very excited because of what you do. Tell our audience a little bit about your background and how you came to found this amazing company of yours.
Okay, so like you mentioned earlier, I'm a mom of 4, but the oldest of them is a go-getter in all of the ways. So during COVID, I was launching a new business, and while I was watching these like business training videos on our living room TV so that I could watch my 4-year-old and my 1-year-old while also trying to learn something, she started watching them with me. She was like, "I'm kind of interested in this." And then at 4.5 years old, she comes up to me and says, "I want to start a business too." And of course, my first reaction was, "No, you're 4. You can't start a business." But she asked that one question that every 4-year-old has mastered: why? And I didn't have a really good answer for why she couldn't start a business. So in the midst of COVID, I decided to let her try it. She launched Melody Paints and she created custom drip art. You ordered it through a Google form and she shipped your art to your house. So contact free, safe, COVID friendly, small business for 4-year-olds. It was awesome. After COVID, she was a featured artist at our city's Artist and Authors Showcase. She did her first couple of children's business fairs. And then I hosted a children's business fair and realized that it felt lackluster at the end. All of these kids made money, they set up, they did all this stuff, and then they left with no step 2, no progress, no measurement, nothing to do next. And I, as an educator, didn't like that. I wanted to be able to take that energy that they had built that day and turn it into something. So I convinced some friends to help me found the Society of Child Entrepreneurs. And we created a program where we teach financial literacy, leadership, and entrepreneurship by letting kids start, found, and run their own businesses as young as 6 years old.
That is incredible. That is what I love so much because I remember my own kids coming home with an idea, and I had the Cricut machine, and one of them had me do those little like cutout animal things.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Here, I need this and this and this." And I was like, "Okay, what's going on?" And she was like, "I'm selling some pencils with some cutouts." And, they're like, I think she was selling them for 50 cents. And I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, okay." And I think she was around 8. I didn't shut it down because I thought it was amazing. It was incredible. I was like, "Oh, I love this," because it just shows like the confidence that they have. And it's a reminder of how fearless kids are. And somehow we lose that. So what you're doing, I think, is just reinforcing that confidence, that bravery to go out there and do it. I love that story. So tell me a little bit more, like if people want to check out your resources, what you have. Like, first of all, I know that you have an in-person type of, events, but you are about to launch something, right?
Yes. So right now, all of our in-person stuff happens here in Kansas. I teach all of the classes face to face with the kids. But we're launching the online Sochi Circle, and the Sochi Circle will give the opportunity for parents, educators, homeschool communities to download lesson plans that I've already written and teach them to your students. So you have the program that I'm writing and you get to teach it yourself. It also gives you the opportunity to start building these children's business fairs in your communities so that you can see how amazing it is to watch a bunch of kids set up their business and make their own money.
That's incredible. So aside from the lesson plans, will you be doing anything live?
So starting out, it's going to be very heavily community-based. So there's 3 chat forums. There's a general chat forum that anybody there can use to just discuss their business, what's going on, their lives, and all those things that we want to have camaraderie with people who understand what we're going through. Then there is an adult guide chat room where only adults who are guiding children through entrepreneurship can talk and say, hey, my kid is struggling with this. What have you done to help your kid with this? And then a child only chat board where our child entrepreneurs will be able to talk to each other. Adults are not allowed to post in that discussion board. They can read it, they can view it, but adults are not allowed to guide conversations in that space. So it is a child space where they can discuss entrepreneurship and what it means to them in their lives. So those are all going to be things that are asynchronous that all of the kids and parents will have together. And then we have the lesson plans, the starter guides, worksheets in there. And then one of the tiers does include also pilot programs where those are people who will get to do live classes with me and build and help us write new programming based on what they see that their kids need.
Wow, that is amazing. I love that. And I love that you specifically say that chat space is only for children. And nowadays that's very important because kids on anywhere online sometimes are targeted by the wrong people. So
Right.
yeah. So will you
Right.
have will you be the one monitoring that chat, or is that done
It
something?
will be me and a team. As we grow, more people will come on board. But
Mhm.
at least for the first 6 months, every message will be read by either myself, my board of directors, or my husband to monitor it. And we're all parents and we're all people who actively care about child entrepreneurship. And so when we see things that we're like not sure about, then we'll be able to immediately make those deletions.
Yeah, okay. Now, when helping kids out, do you help them out with almost every idea, or how does that work?
A lot of times we'll have kids come to me and they're like, I like to draw, I like to read, and I don't like to spend time around my siblings. Like, how do I make that into a business? And then I go, well, okay, well, let's look at what will people pay for. As a mom, I will pay for something that keeps my children from fighting with each other. So is there something you can draw or create that makes space for kids not to fight? Or as a reader, I always am excited to get new bookmarks, book themed jewelry, or even a book recommendation list. So, what can you do with this? So, that particular child came and he created what he calls Troy's Top 10. And he has a top 10 book recommendation list for every genre. You tell him what genre you want to read. And he has on the back of a bookmark, hand drawn the bookmark, and on the back is your 10 books to read.
Oh my gosh, that's so cute and so useful. Like,
Right.
yeah,
And you don't lose your recommendation list because it's in your book.
that's right. Because I mean, I have tons of lists and I have them on Instagram, on Facebook, I have them on my phone notes, and I
Cool.
do forget, so that is so clever. So have there been, I love how you pose the questions too, because you're helping them think further about like, okay, who's going to use this? And they might
Mhm.
not realize it, but that's kind of like a little bit of market research. So you're teaching all of those essential things that people need for starting a business. What about kids that say they have a great idea, but they need funding? Do you also go into that and teach them on how to raise the funds?
Not yet.
Hmm.
One of our goals is to have a scholarship fund where people come to us with ideas and we can offer them a grant or a loan so that they can start their businesses. Right now, we generally recommend they go to parents or grandparents and create a loan with their parents where they borrow money from mom and dad or grandma and grandpa, and then they pay that back out of their profits. And I do make them tell me where their startup come from when they apply for a children's business fair.
Oh, I love that. So, what else can you tell us about your program? Are there any other different branches of this that you have?
So we have our children's books, Astra and Zeke, right now. Only the first book is published. With the plan within the next couple of years will be 36. And each one of these is Astra and Zeke, our child business coaches who teach children how to run businesses. And so they take a problem that a business owner might see and they break it down and they help the child solve it. And then we have with that a school year curriculum where we can actually just go into a school and teach one lesson a week on entrepreneurship, financial literacy, and leadership. And then another thing that is prototyped right now, but not officially in mass production, is a board game.
Mhm.
And you'll really like this. So you get 3 colored dice, and one dice recommend is your client. Who are you trying to sell this product to? The second dice is what is the problem that they have that you need to solve? And the third dice is what is their budget to solve this problem? And then after you've rolled your 3 dice, you have 2 minutes to come up with a pitch for a product, service, or company that you want to establish, solving that problem. And then the judge of that round decides who they would give their investment money to based on the pitches. And the first kid to get 5 investments is the winner.
Wow, I love that.
It's so cute. I
Yeah,
love
I
playing it.
bet. I bet. And so I'm guessing while kids are doing this, the parents are right along with them, right?
Yeah, I like this game is really fun because it's something that parents and kids can play together.
Mhm.
Because you take turns being the judge, but you also that means you take turn being the one coming up with ideas, which means the parents are also having to practice a little bit of their creativity and their ability to think on the fly and present. And it's a good way for the kids to see their parents stretching themselves into something uncomfortable or something that they're not good at right off the
Mhm.
bat.
Yeah. Wow. I love it. I love it so much. Anything that helps just, expand that mindset for kids at a very young age, because I hear too often people say, oh, they're too small, they won't get it. But I think it's really about how you implement something or how you teach something to a child. And if you can break it down very comprehensively and clearly, I think they're always learning. So why not try? Yeah. And then
I
go ahead.
I teach mission and vision statements to first graders. I mean,
Oh,
I literally sit down and I'm like, okay, well, your business needs a mission and a vision statement. And your mission statement is your seed. It's the reason why you started. It's the little thing that you have right now. And your vision statement is the tree that you want your business to turn into. If all of your dreams ever came true and it was a big giant tree, what would it achieve? And that's all a mission and vision statement is. And there's no reason a first grader can't understand that if
mhm.
you actually take the time to explain it to them.
Yeah. What challenges do you see them struggling with while you're doing your program with them?
I think the biggest challenge that we see with our child entrepreneurs is a little bit of a fear that there's not a grown up telling them what to do.
Uh,
We, I think, as kids, have gotten so used to our parents telling us what to say or when to say it or how to stand that when the kids are alone in that booth, the first hour that they're alone in that booth, they're really like unsure of themselves. And they're like, I don't know what to do in this space. I've never been in this space before. But by the time they've been there for an hour and a half, they're like, I can talk to any customer about anything, and the stuff that I make is the coolest stuff in this building. So
mhm.
I think that's one of my favorite things is just watching them grow through that experience.
That is beautiful. And what about how do they interact with each other as they're seeing their, classmates doing the same thing, going along the same journey? How does that dynamic flow?
So specifically at our children's business fairs, it's so funny because all of the kids, they want to shop at each other's businesses and they want to tell each other what the best things are. And they're like, no child wants to leave having not bought from every other child there. They're like,
Oh,
oh my gosh, I love what you make. And oh my gosh, I love what you make. And by the time we get to our last 30 minutes, they become this bartering system where like one girl will be like, I'll trade you a pair of earrings for a glass of lemonade. And another kid is like, well, I'll give you this cookie if you give me a glass of lemonade. And then we each have a snack. And like they just start figuring out how they can support each other's businesses and creating their own little community and their own little economy of let's build together.
yeah.
But throughout the day, they're also sending customers to each other's tables. So a customer will come through and be like, I love this cookie that you made, but you don't have any chocolate chip. And they're like, oh, over there, she has chocolate chip cookies and they're so soft. You're going to love them. And it's fabulous to see them supporting each other.
Oh, wow. How long have you been doing this for?
So we founded the Society of Child Entrepreneurs in July of 2024.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, so it's been a couple of years now. That's great.
Yeah.
And you still have it going on. I love it. And then you also have the children's business fair. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so that is when it's 4 times a year, the kids get to take their merchandise, all of their stuff, and they set up a booth just if you were to go to a farmer's market. Only all of the tables are kids 6 through 17. And primarily 8 to 13 is what a lot of these kids are. And so they're young teenagers, older big kids who are running these businesses, standing in that booth and talking about their companies. They're fabulous to watch.
I can imagine. And I mean, you've only done this for a couple of years. So it's going to be interesting to see those that are aging out, once they turn 18, if they continue their businesses or like if they grow them and how big they'll get to.
Right. It's one of my favorite things to tell the kids is I don't want to know what you want to be when you grow up. I want to know what you're doing right now. and how it can support you right now. And then as you grow, it can grow or you can outgrow it. And both of those are completely valid futures.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you also see like a shift in what they want to go to school for post high school graduation?
So this is actually one of the funniest things is my daughter absolutely from the time she was 4 years old was like, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. She just knew like she was going to be an entrepreneur. She was going to be a business owner. She just figured she was going to take over one of mom's businesses. She was going to be a business owner. And then she hit third grade and she realized she absolutely loves being in the classroom. And she's like, so now I think I'm going to have a side business because I'm always going to want to have Melody Creates because that's her business.
Uh-huh.
But I think I'm going to be a teacher. So it's really funny to see how she's like, I really want to teach, but I also still want to hold on to that entrepreneurship even as I change my career plans. But she has been an entrepreneur for 6 years.
Wow, look at that. Wow. I love that because one of the things that I struggled with as a kid was for some reason, because you're always asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? I thought it was just one thing, right? And I loved so many different things that it took me a long time to decide in college, like what to study, because I just struggled. I loved so many things. And I, to this day, still have a day job and I never want to leave it. So people are surprised when I tell them, I actually love my day job, but I also love my business too. And I don't know why I should have to give up one of them. I don't think I need to if I can make it
Right.
work, right? Yeah. And
Yeah, as long as you make it work and your customers are happy and your day job is happy, you don't have to pick just one person to be.
yeah, exactly. And it just, I think it just enriches your life because you're constantly, I think entrepreneurship is constantly teaching you something new because things evolve, the way that society operates and how they consume, and then the technology, like not right now, it's the boom of AI. Then you have to adjust things to what's new. So it's amazing. So tell us a little bit more about what can we expect when we go to your website?
Our website is SOCEICT.org. That's the easiest way to find us.
Okay.
And it's just SochiICT.org. And that'll take you to our calendar of local events. If you want to buy merchandise with our stuff on it, our book link will be up on there later this week. So you can buy the book directly from our website. If you want to make a donation so that we can continue to grow our programming because we are a nonprofit, everything we do has to move at the speed of how we can get funding. And we have big dreams for these kids, and these kids have big dreams for themselves. So any funding is really necessary for getting things like the loan program. If we had an opportunity where we could loan kids money so that they could start businesses, then we would be able to offer this program to more children. And so that's something that's big on my list this year.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So, hey, business leaders, step up. Get those sponsorships going, and people in the bank industry. Just there's so much opportunity to help these young entrepreneurs. They're pretty much the leaders of the future. So why not? About your shop online, your merch shop, is that products just to raise capital for the nonprofit, or do you sell some of your little entrepreneurs' merch on there as well?
The kids don't have any merchandise on there. We are looking at a consignment opportunity for the kids.
Mhm.
We haven't just gotten there yet. It's a slow process because here in the state of Kansas, there's still a lot of laws around what kids can and can't sell. And as a nonprofit, we can't give money to other people. So we have to be really careful with how we sponsor it. And so we're trying to work through what we can do so that we can market on behalf of the kids and they can earn some of that money because we have this platform. But in the meantime, all of the kids' sales are in person at our children's business fairs. But I really do recommend if you can find a local children's business fair in your area, because there are tons of organizations that do it, go and support the kids because they're brilliant and you will be absolutely blown away by what these kids make and do.
Yeah. And what about the membership to join you guys? What does that look like, and who can do it?
So if you're joining our actual membership, those are for people here in Kansas, and that's a once a month meeting where they come in and we do a mastermind and have a pizza party and we talk about business problems and how to solve them. Those are the kids who get participation at our children's business fairs for free. They get to attend workshops and camps throughout the year. Those are the kids who are really focused on growing their businesses and they're working with me regularly at least once a month to learn something new about their business. And then the membership for the new Sochi Circle is a monthly membership that you pay on that website so that you have access all of
Mhm.
the new lesson plans that we're writing.
And that's awesome. What about parents who have more questions? Where can they go?
The best thing is our Facebook page. I'm pretty good at replying to Facebook messages really quickly. And so that is Facebook, and it's Society of Child Entrepreneurs.
Wonderful. Is there any other information you want to share that people need to know about your organization?
Not so much about my organization, but just a thing that I like to say when I do these podcasts and I want people to be more cognizant of. If you really want to see what the children in your life are capable of, ask them what they want to see changed, and then be quiet and listen to their response. Our kids are the leaders of the future, but more importantly, they're impactful leaders now when we step back and let them do it. And so, in order for that to happen, the first step is for the adults in their lives to ask a question and then sit in silence while they answer.
That is so true. I love that one. Yeah. Because I mean, I'm thinking about had somebody asked me that at a very young age, I probably would have given a very long-winded answer. And I
Yeah,
probably would have surprised them too, because sometimes we forget that kids are really paying attention to the world and that they have their own assessments and their own opinions about what's going on.
absolutely. And then the other thing is when they answer, don't dismiss them, ask them how.
Yeah.
Just ask how. That is such a powerful question. When they've given you an answer on what they want to see changed, ask them how would they do it.
Hmm. Okay, here's another question because I've been guilty of this where I let my own fears get in the way of my kids' dreams. And I remember I caught myself when many years ago, they wanted to have a lemonade stand. And lemonade stands are not so common anymore. And I was like, oh, but who's gonna buy? Like we live in this road on this road where like neighbors don't even come out. And so I didn't say that, but I was thinking it. And I remember what I was asking was like, oh, are you sure you would really want to do that? And I'm like, just that question right there is very dismissive. And I didn't realize it. Um, for those parents who have that doubt, because I think it's harder for you to believe that something's um, likely to come true if you've never done it. So, what message would you say to those parents?
Your kid is going to fail sometimes. I'm so sorry to have to be the first person to tell you that, but they are. There are going to be times when your kid is going to fail and they're going to be heartbroken, and it is going to feel awful as a parent to know that you can't fix it. And in that moment, your job is not to fix it, but to help them reshape it. Even some of our curriculum teaches failing forward. We don't ever fail and stop. We fail and reiterate. So that's your opportunity as a parent to say, hey, I understand that this sucks, and tell them they're allowed to be sad, but then say, what are we going to do next time to do it better? Because
Um,
then you're teaching them that they can solve problems. You're teaching them that growth mindset. You're teaching them not to let the hard days define them. And it's through something that they're passionate about, which means they're going to have answers. I had to sit through a children's business fair on my daughter's birthday where the city moved all of the adult vendors. So we got no customers. She probably saw 5 customers all day long on her birthday in a booth. And I had to sit there and watch it. And you know what? We left and she said, Mom, next time we do a children's business fair, I think we should make sure we have bigger signs outside. We should make sure there's more vendors close to us. And I think we maybe should run some Facebook ads. She
wow.
didn't give up. She
Yeah.
promptly came to me with how we can make it better next time.
Yeah. Oh my God. I love that. I wish every person were like that because we're so conditioned to think that when something fails, we should feel bad about ourselves. And it's like, oh, that means I don't have the skill or whatever. But entrepreneurship is just pretty much figuring it out. And yeah,
Yeah.
it's a constant.
Entrepreneurship is one great big giant experiment.
I agree. I
And
agree.
sometimes it's throwing stuff at the wall and praying that one of them sticks.
Yeah. That is so funny. I just heard somebody of this multimillionaire that started selling golf balls from his backyard say something like that. Like you just got to keep trying and
Yeah.
experimenting. And yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Leah, thank you so much for coming on here. Oh, before, just one last question, because you mentioned donations. Now, do you take just monetary donations, or are there any type of supplies or anything like that that people can donate to support your cause?
Monetary donations are the best because and otherwise we have shipping costs and all of that kind of stuff that goes into it. But anytime you have craft supplies, paper, markers, that's all the stuff that the kids are always going to be able to use. And food. I
Mhm.
spend a lot of time around teenagers. We always need more snacks.
Yeah, I can imagine. Thank you so much, Leah. Again, please let us know where can we follow you on social media and the best place to contact you.
So the best place to contact is our social media, and that would be Facebook, Society of Child Entrepreneurs, or Instagram is Sochi ICT.
Wonderful. Thank you, Leah.
Thank you.
Hey, did you like that episode? I have an ask. Would you mind leaving me a review? It would really help me improve this podcast so that you can come back and keep listening. Also, don't forget to check me out at dalitalks.com and follow me on social media at dalitalks. Until next time.